Today we have Senator Elizabeth Warren from the state of Massachusetts versus the President Donald Trump. So I said I would be doing two videos for today, July 3rd, 2018. So I'm going to be doing Elizabeth Warren versus Donald Trump and then Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump in a later video. And the reason why I'm doing them mainly for Hillary Clinton is because she's a base model. We're going to see how Democrats would improve against someone who would run against the president again. So let's say Bernie Sanders does better than Hillary Clinton. That means he's doing better than what she would have done in a rematch against the president. So pretty much she's just the base model, something for Democrats to, I guess, look at to see how, if they reran the same candidate, what the map would look like. Clearly, I don't think she's going to run in the 2020 election. It's just always fun to speculate the things that happen. So when we look at that map, don't take it as a prediction of saying she's going to become the nominee and then she's going to run. So when we're looking at this map, the reason why I'm doing Elizabeth Warren is because she was one of the top names for I apologize for that. She was one of the top names for the 2016 presidential election, but then Hillary Clinton came in. I mean, Hillary Clinton was always a clear leader, but I was looking at some opinion polls yesterday, and it showed Hillary Clinton, when she was taken out of the poll, Elizabeth Warren had won consistently. I mean, in a number of these polls where Hillary Clinton was taken out and Joe Biden was taken out, Elizabeth Warren was that top name and someone who could have ran. And, you know, SNL even hinted at it one time, and when they made a skit about Hillary Clinton, and she said, Kate McKinnon had said, it's not the time for you, Elizabeth Warren, or something similar. But when we're looking at things like that, Elizabeth Warren at the time was someone who could have ran in 2016 but didn't, and also she's being speculated for the 2020 election. So she's a pretty prominent member of the Democratic Party. We're going to see how well she does. So we're going to do this using the poll closing method, 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. So typical states. So I haven't seen Indiana blue in a long time. Indiana, Kentucky, and South Carolina obviously go to the president. Georgia is a toss-up state. Vermont and Virginia, pretty Democratic states, stay in the Democratic column. 7:30 rolls around. West Virginia goes to Trump. North Carolina toss-up. Ohio is a toss-up as well. Pretty typical. Almost same results when we come out of 8 p.m. When we go up to Maine, I think that Elizabeth Warren would carry New Hampshire and all of Maine because she comes from the state of Massachusetts, and she would be better able to appeal to these voters better than Hillary Clinton could, and Hillary Clinton had won in New Hampshire. She won in all of Maine except for the 2nd district where Donald Trump won pretty handily, but I do believe that Elizabeth Warren could win back a number of those voters because she's better appealed to their ideologies and issues. And keep in mind, the Maine 2nd district has always been Democratic except for Donald Trump, just like the Rust Belt. It had such a drastic swing, but I do believe that Elizabeth Warren could win back those voters because she could pretty much have an effect on winning them back, just like Bernie Sanders would be able to, because of the fact she is from the Northeast and her issues and her stances on things line up with the type of Maine voter. And then we look at the map. We have, I believe at this time, 98 electoral votes too close to call, 96 for Elizabeth Warren, and 76 for Donald Trump. 8:30 comes around. Arkansas goes to Trump. 9 p.m. pretty solid. Again, my bad. Arizona, toss-up state. New Mexico, Democratic state. Colorado, toss-up. The Rust Belt, toss-up as usual. And New York goes to Elizabeth Warren. This puts her at 130, Donald Trump at 148. So 10 p.m. rolls around. Utah goes to Trump. Montana goes to Trump. Iowa goes to Trump, because I don't think Warren can win over Midwestern voters just like someone Bernie Sanders could. And Iowa was such a Republican state back in 2016. It's going to be really hard for most Democrats to win here. Only certain candidates could actually win in the state of Iowa. But Ohio is a little bit different because of the white working class voter base model, I guess. Nevada, toss-up state. And then we go over into 11 p.m., and then Elizabeth Warren, of course, springs ahead, winning in California, 55 electoral votes, and then Alaska at 130. So right now we're finishing off with 160 electoral votes too close to call, and I believe that would be 11 states. That's 6, and that's 5. Yeah, 11 states. So 160 electoral votes, ultimately deciding the fate of the presidency. Being honest with you, Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina, and Ohio are all going to Donald Trump. And these are states that were pretty conservative back in 2016, and they are still conservative at heart, with disregarding Ohio, which is typically a bellwether state. But Ohio, right now, I do believe is going to Donald Trump by a narrow margin. But North Carolina, pretty conservative. Barack Obama couldn't carry it in 2012, my bad. Hillary Clinton could carry it in 2016. Barack Obama only carried it by 14,000 votes in 2008. Again, pretty conservative a state. Georgia and Arizona haven't been won by a Democrat since the 90s. So again, these states are pretty Republican, and Again, Ohio overwhelmingly voted for the president compared to where they voted for Barack Obama. I still think would go to Donald Trump. But Colorado, I see going to Elizabeth Warren by a narrow margin. I also see her carrying the state of Minnesota. I think her ideology would definitely line up with a number of people in Minnesota. And keep in mind, this is the state that hasn't gone Republican longer than any other any other state in the United States. One country, 50 states, got it. But 227 electoral votes for Elizabeth Warren, 230 for Donald Trump. So when we're looking at this map, we always have to focus on a number of these swing states. But Michigan, I do see going to Elizabeth Warren. But Florida, I see going to Donald Trump by a narrow margin. I don't think that he's going to overwhelmingly win in Florida, and I don't think she's going to overwhelmingly win in Michigan. Michigan flipping from Republican to blue, but Florida, I still see staying in the conservative column because I don't think Elizabeth Warren could appeal to a number of these voters like other top Democratic names could. But Pennsylvania, I see Warren narrowly winning only because of the fact that Pennsylvania is pretty much, she can win over a number of these white working class voters, and it was one of the states that wasn't as many percentage points as Wisconsin, was a little bit more than Michigan. But I think with extended African American turnout, which I'm not saying Warren will do, but just the current opposition to the president will definitely get out a few more voters in the 2020 election. I do see Elizabeth Warren narrowly winning there. Nevada, I see going to Elizabeth Warren as well. I mean, history tells us that one's going blue, and Donald Trump would actually have to gain a number of states to possibly win in Nevada. But Wisconsin, I see going to Trump, and this is actually a pretty interesting scenario. So 269 for Elizabeth Warren, 269 for the president. The president did pretty well in Wisconsin in 2016. I see it happening in 2020, but by a narrow margin yet again, because Elizabeth Warren, she can appeal to Pennsylvania voters. The ideologies are a little bit different. The white working class voters are a little bit different, but over in Wisconsin, not so much. So finishing off the map again, an electoral college tie going to the House of Representatives. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.